Evening, Mark.
Good evening, Dan. How are you today?
Not too bad at all. Our third episode and continuation, actually, isn't it?
I think it should be a continuation. Can we start? We touched upon the subject of driving, and I added parking to that, and I think the parking might have taken up a little bit more time than we anticipated. So I think we should expand on the driving thing. I think we touched on it a little bit towards the end of the last episode about the drink driving here. Now, what's your take, Daniel, on the drink driving in Spain?
Well, it's something that's been done for years, and I think anyone will turn around. Anyone that lives here and that drinks alcohol will turn around and say, "Yes, I have." Whether it's been one drink over or 14, as some people. I mean, I know you've seen some states, and so have I.
I mean, we for those who haven't seen our previous episode, we came up with the revelation that I've been here 23 years and been breathalyzed once, and you've lived here 37 years, isn't it? And how many times have you been?
37 years, and I've been breathalyzed 3 times.
Now, what I've known from being an ex-bar owner, and I owned a bar here for 22 years, and it was predominantly Spanish clientele, and I was always shocked with the amount that people were drinking and driving with. Now, to give them a bit of give a bit more balance on it, I did notice till the end of my days, so the last year, that has changed a bit, and people are being more responsible these days with the new culture of the 0-0 beers. And people are realizing it's not a cool thing to do to drink drive. But there is a certain demographic, probably around our age, who still don't really care and think wine and beer doesn't really count towards alcohol.
Well, I'm watching a series at the minute, which I could highly recommend, which is called Landman, if you haven't seen it.
I know, I've heard that. Billy Bob Thornton.
Yes, indeed. And he's a recovering alcoholic, but he drinks beer. And the reason why he says I drink beer is because now the other stuff's too strong. And if I drink that, then I am in trouble. So, I think I was going to say, because you mentioned it being a demographic, I think it's a generational thing, that the younger generation is definitely seeing that they're not going to get away with it. They're going to get targeted very quickly. They get stopped very quickly. And they seem to be buying better cars than back in the day as well. They're a lot of them still live with the parents, so they're buying a nice, half-decent car. Young kid in a decent car gets stopped quite regularly, so they can't risk it, and they don't want to risk it, which is good on them. I think it's quite clever.
I mean, the hire purchase thing here with the cars is probably a whole subject for another episode. I did see in the news about a week ago over the Christmas period that, probably longer than that the young people now, drinking has gone out of fashion, and you do see in the supermarket now these brands that do 0-0 gins and 0-0 whiskies. I've never tried them. I don't drink myself, but I'd prefer a glass of water than a 0-0 gin. I try to think what that tastes like. I'm quite a big fan of some of the 0-0 beers. They've improved over the years. I mean, I know you're a Guinness drinker, and I used to be a Guinness drinker, and I quite like the Guinness 0-0.
But I remember we sat down one night and I tried one, and I just went, no, thank you. But apparently it has got better since then, and it travels better. So hopefully I'll try. I might try it again.
But one thing you do notice here is there a lack of control. So I mean, the time I was breathalyzed, I think it was between about 11 o'clock in the morning, which seems like a ridiculous thing. I remember being in the UK when I grew up. I know I grew up out in the sticks, just outside Oxford. And when we went out at night, we'd all take turns at being a designated driver. But around the Christmas period, the police would be breathalyzing in the morning and catch people because people were going out and lashing it up, and by going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and still be half cut. But I think when I got breathalyzed, it was like a November morning on a Wednesday. So I don't know what I've been drinking at that time of day, but I was breathalyzed at that particular time.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any kind of logic and timing. You'd have thought that Friday evenings would be a decent one, build up to holidays, as you're saying, festive periods and things like that. But there are less and less. And I remember recently going to a party and thinking, I had 2 beers, and I thought, should I have another one? No, best not. Better not, just to be safe. And I know that 2 bottles of beer is fine. I drove all the way, which was 45 kilometers to come home. Not one police car, and it was a Friday evening at say about 11 o'clock, 11:15. Not one police car. And it's full well that there are 2 main roads or 2 decent roads. There's a lot of traffic. It's a busy road, and you just know it's Friday night, and there are people out there that they're well oiled, and it still happens.
Well, we had it here with the local farrier, and just before COVID, I was at the farrier and I was waiting for someone to pick me up, and I was standing next to all the motorbikes park, and this guy got on a scooter, and he was so drunk, and the police were just standing there, just watching him go. I thought, oh, so it's the farrier, so it's okay. But also, when I owed my bar back in the day, we actually rented that out one New Year's Eve to the staff, and they had a big private party, and they were selling tickets to their friends and things like this. And I left my computer there. I had to go back and get my laptop. So I went in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and this place, I mean, it was an open bar. They were drinking. It was crazy. There must have been 50 or 60 cars parked outside, right? I came back in the morning to do the cleaning with the cleaner because it was going to be so dirty. We turned up at 10 o'clock. There's not one car parked outside. He went to that party, drove home. Right, that's enough about drink driving. I think we should move on to maybe the driving license in Spain. Do you have are you a Spanish driving license holder, Daniel?
I am. When the news came out, obviously about Brexit, and we had to change it, and so on, then yes, I did it straight away.
I did the same thing, but I do know various people who have been done for having British driving licenses here have been stopped. Now, I believe maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sure someone will correct me in the comment section if I am. If you're part of the EU, you can drive on any driving license in Spain. But now, because the UK is outside the EU, you need to change your driving license unless you're obviously a tourist. But if you're a resident here, you need to have a Spanish driving license.
Yeah, when the law came in and the change came in 16th of March 2023, you had 6 months from then to do it, or you had 6 months to do it from the time that you get your residence. So if you are buying a property or doing a business and then you're changing things over and eventually you get your residence and you get your residency, that's when you have 6 months from there, whichever falls in or fell in at that time now. Now, if you're buying a property area, you're coming to move here, you have 6 months from the time you get your residency.
I mean, I swapped mine over, but I still had to do the medical exam and things like that. Have you done the medical exam for the driving test?
I did. Did you get that silly game thing?
Yeah, my video game skills aren't the greatest. I mean, I don't think it was set towards Pac-Man and Space Invaders. I think anybody who's anything good on any sort of Atari system would have been okay with that. It was very bizarre.
It's like a machine from the 70s with the metal handlebars or something. It was really, really, really strange. But here's a weird thing. When I was getting that medical for the swapping of the licenses, obviously wearing glasses, you have to declare that you're wearing glasses and that you need them either full time or not. So I had my glasses on, and she said, "Right, take your glasses off." And I went, "Oh, here we go. Close that eye. What can you see?" And I went, "First line." She went, "Okay, tell me the first lines." I told the first line. Okay, fair enough. Close that eye. And I went, "Close that eye. What can you see?" Nothing. It's really weird. And I said, "Yeah, but give me a second." And then I opened both eyes. I said, "Right, first line, second line, and third line." She went, "What?" I said, "Now I'll do it with the glasses." And the same thing. The same situation. That both eyes together were working in a very different way. But she said, "I shouldn't really give you this, but I'm going to because you did it without your glasses."
Well, I shouldn't be giving you this either as well, but because I was kind of doing this, my eyesight is generally okay, but it's going. But I feel that she might have got her revenge because the photograph she put on my driving license, I think she put me into a fat filter because my kid see my driving license and he goes, "Who's that? Your older, fatter brother?" And I look like I'm about 5 stone heavier than I am now. It's the most horrendous. Like
it was a while ago. Come on, when did you get it done recently? Come on, when did you get it done? When did you get it done? Come on.
I have been going through some porky stages in my life, but this definitely wasn't one of those.
We've all been through. So I'm probably at one of my heaviest in the last 20 years at the minute. But I wear it well. I keep the beard and I stretch the neck out a little bit. And
a little trick that he uses. He's got these wonderful filters.
the slimming ones.
Right. I think, you know what? Another thing that surprised me over here is the culture of driving, how they drive on the highways or the motorways here. And I believe you once told me, and maybe it's fake news, but you said it's not illegal to undertake on a motorway.
That's not. If you're in a 3-lane, even if you're on a dual carriageway, and you've got someone hogging the fast lane, you can undertake them in Spain. You will not get fined for it. Because
that's something you see a lot. I don't drive very often on the motorway here unless I'm going to the airport. but I would say every time on the motorway, I see someone undercutting somebody else. And we have quite a bad coach accident here because that happened recently, didn't we? That was
Yeah.
not was that about 8 years ago? That coach near
On the top over Ben Madden, wasn't it?
yeah, between
Yeah.
Bellamadina and Torremolinos, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was someone undercutting, wasn't it?
It was, and then it was a high power car going far too fast. The bus driver didn't look, changed lane. Well, the bus driver didn't look, supposedly didn't look. But I mean, this again is one of the issues when it comes to people visiting countries where the rules are different. We've spoke about this in the previous episode. If the European Union were to give out specific guidelines as to your road laws and your road rules, then there would be much less happening on the roads, and obviously far fewer or far less fatalities.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that the culture of the speed cameras is starting to catch on in Spain now. There's quite a few here where I live, and I've been done one for a bizarre one just around the corner from me when I was going 42, I think. But it's set in a very odd spot. But I love to know how many people they catch. But near where we're talking about now, up near Malaga somewhere, I believe there's a speed camera that has the highest results of catching people in the whole of Spain. I think it's near El Palo, no? I think.
Yeah, it's just on the other side of other side of Malaga. I know it well. I've been down that way quite a few times, and at least you're given a warning if you're aware. I mean, how many people drive along, chatting away, talking away, or music blaring, and they're not watching the road signs. They're not looking at what's going on. You are told that it's there. It does give you a warning. So even then, it's still one of the highest highest payout cameras that's around.
Oh. It's always a strange one. They do still do. I mean, you see it more in the UK with the remote speed cameras. And
Yeah.
my poor wife, who has to probably be one of the safest drivers I've ever known, and is always under the speed limit. And they have we have a dual carriageway near where we live, and they changed the speed limit to 30 for some reason, and nobody's going 30 there. And she's there with her mother, who's in her 70s, and she got hit with a remote speed, and they pulled her over, and she got fined like 200 euros. I'm thinking, my God, how desperate must they be to finding people like that? And some of the things you see here, with be it high speed motorbikes and high speed cars, especially between here and Marbella, where you said before you get these big high powered people visiting and these huge Audis and BMWs and luxury cars, and some of them on the toll roads, especially, which we just talk about now, are going close to 200 k's now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I was going to before we go to the toll road thing. I was going to say something about the fact that you'll see specific stretches of road where they are constantly putting, but I mean constantly, I mean every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, a speed camera 1 kilometer back, and then the police stopping a kilometer down the road because I believe that's the distance that they have to have. If they caught you on a radar, they caught you on a radar. But there's another loophole with regards to certain tracks of road or parts of road for motorcyclists as well. But I'll go to that another day. But you see it happen not on a regular enough basis. If it's that much of a problematic area, put a camera there. Why is it just every 3 weeks? It seems a bit odd.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, a bit more serious. And we talked about drink driving before. I do have a vague recognition that I do remember vaguely that that crash with the bus was caused by not only a high powered vehicle, but the guy was also drunk. So we do get a lot of accidents here caused by both high speed and drink driving.
Mm.
And I think I told you before that I visited my uncle up in San Javier near Murcia, and he said when you get near here, get on this toll road. And I said, where will I take the toll road? I'm not going on the normal road. He goes, just take it. And I hit this toll road, and it was like being on a racetrack. There wasn't a soul on it. I mean, it was like being on your own personal racetrack. I was driving. I must have done 160, 170, taking the curves like a racing car driver. It was mad. And as soon as I walked into his house, he goes, "How do you enjoy that toll road?" I was like, "Oh, he knew."
They had a reputation. Spain had a reputation for a long time for building some of the best toll roads and best motorways in Europe. The quality is outstanding and everything. It slipped slightly, and we know that the toll road that we have locally isn't in the best condition. It used to be fantastic, but it's a bit battered and worn now. They haven't been spending too much on it. But that's another one that, as you mentioned before, about the massive cars that come off the A7 gone. They want to go down to Gibraltar or go even just to get to Marbella, and they are absolutely belting it.
Yeah,
Getting caught now. Getting caught now.
they are getting caught now. They are getting caught now. Right. I think we've covered enough again for another episode. Don't you want to do your thing when you point at the screen and tell people what they need to subscribe and like? And
Well, like that, like an air steward, isn't it?
yeah, you're very
Emergency exits over here and go down there. So yes, if you do want to contact us, you want to get involved, you want to anything, comments, you can tell us we're talking absolute pants if you want to. The comments on YouTube are just down here, but you can also follow and like us and subscribe and do all those kind of things. And if you're on other social medias, it's either on that side or it's on that side. You make the choice of which platform you're watching it on and what you'd like to do from there. But please, if you want to engage, join in. We're more than open and happy to engage and have a chat.
And remember, this is our opinion. This is our opinion based down here in Andalusia. So there are other people who live all over the country. So please put a comment in the comment section. Let us know how driving is in your areas, or how the toll roads are. Is there a drink driving problem, or is it restricted mainly to here? Right.
Or can you drive on 10 pints?
Oh, yeah. There we are. Right, I think on that words of wisdom, I will bid you farewell, my friend.
Have a good one, mate. Speak to you soon.
You too, buddy. Look after yourself. Adios.
And you take care.